Well, well, well. Is it nice to be back? It absolutely is. Not under these circumstances, though. The 76ers fall because of Ben Simmons. And if you don't think it's because of Ben Simmons, well, then you're just being naive. I've been telling you, Ben Simmons is a problem. Ben Simmons does not shoot a basketball still. He is the downfall of this organization. And if you seriously still are holding your hat on this Ben Simmons nonsense, well, shame on you. Now, I do want to apologize because the last couple of days, I was not doing coffee with Brodes, which was just weird. I hated it, but my voice needed a little bit of a break. I lost my voice, and it's like, all right, I need to take precautionary measures, if you will. I did a little load management. So I was doing the honey and the tea. I was, taking some medicine for my throat. Feel a little bit better now with that. That was the only thing. I didn't have COVID or anything like that. I saw people in the comments, bro, when you have COVID? No, there was no COVID involved. Just a little bit of a sore throat that we took care of. But here we are. This is how we get rewarded from coming back from that is the 76ers falling and collapsing at home. There's plenty of reasons why this happened. It's not only Ben, it stems from Ben. It stems from 5-on-4 on every single offensive possession. That's where it all starts. So it's just crazy. It really is. Before we get going though, I don't know if you can see that steam. Yeah, I can because if I put it next to my chair. Can you see that steam going? Look at that. That's a cup of fucking coffee, fellas. That is a cup of coffee. Am I right? Wow. All right, let's take a sip together, everyone. Cheers. We're here. Not under the circumstances that we want to be here, but we're here together. Sixers lose. Enjoy your coffee with me. Oh, it's so good. Oh, so good. All right, let's just start it off by firing off some comments. We got a 500 yen donation coming in from Mullet Petition for Alvarado. Ben, one power forward and 1.4. One, I thought you were going power forward. But 4 rebounds, uninspired defense, and total shell shock performance. 75% free throws, wins game 1 and 4 and 5. All correctable stats with effort. 5-on-4 basketball. I mean, there's no way in hell I can sit here today and say, you know what? If Ben shot 75, my man averages 60, and he's giving you 30? It's so bad. And he's lost mentally. You know, I'm sure everybody saw it at this point, but there was a clip going around from, I believe it was John Clark's media, or Twitter page, I should say. And it's a media clip of Ben Simmons saying 3 years ago that Hack-a-Ben won't be a problem anymore because he'll make sure that that changes. He'll make his free throws. We are having the same discussions. And, you know, I mean, it's just laughable that people thought that I was being outrageous, that I was nitpicking. Game 1 of the playoffs, when they won the game, he was running away from possessions. And I point out that this will cost you. That is something that is so important that it will cost you. Didn't today, will cost you. Brodes, you're looking at this negatively. You have no idea what you're talking about. The team won. Shut up. Okay. Yeah, I'll shut up. Now all those same people, by the way, are the same ones saying, I'm ready to get rid of Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons can't make his free throw. No shit. You can see that in a win. You can see that throughout, even when it's not that specific moment. You can see that it's foreshadow. You can see something and know that you can apply that down the road. Look, in game 1, when you're playing the Washington Wizards, you can get away with that. When you go up against a team that's the Atlanta Hawks are not even good. They're not that good. You can't even get by with this method against a team that's just scrappy, young, and can shoot. This isn't even a legitimate NBA Finals team. This isn't a serious title threat team. And they still wax your ass because of these flaws. So, you know, you might be able to get by Washington. You can't get by a Atlanta Hawks team that's just young and scrappy with it. So, shame. Just shame. This is why when we witness a player like Alec Burks last year, and everyone's like, whoa, Alec Burks? No way. This guy can shoot off the dribble. This guy can shoot off the bounce. This guy can create his own shot. He's got to start. Oh, we're deprived of what every NBA player can do in this league. We're deprived of it because you just don't have it. You don't have it. You don't have it all around your roster. And you specifically don't have it with your point guard when everyone and their fucking mother in the NBA has a point guard that can dribble a basketball and create a shot and shoot a ball coming off of a screen and become a threat on the floor. We're literally taking off our pants for Alec Burks last season. I love Tyrese Maxey to death, but our reaction to Tyrese Maxey is because, one, he's very talented, but two, we don't see what he does on this team, but every team has that but us. It's insane. And I feel horrible because, I'll be honest, right here written down, I have the Dodgers series written out. Game 1, Game 2, Game 3. All the points I want to hit on about the Dodgers series. It was a late night, the West Coast swing. It makes it difficult to do the post-game reactions and whatnot, especially after you blow a 26-point lead. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this, though. I have to talk about the Phils. They went 1-2. It's not as bad as what it might sound. You're going on the road to play the Dodgers. They're a nasty team for a reason. And I just can't get myself to do it. I can't get myself to do it because of this debacle. And I still have to talk about the Sixers more. So I'm trying my best. I'm lost for words because that falls under the category of NFC Championship games lost. That falls in the category of the St. Louis Cardinals-Phillies game. I mean, this is what it comes down to. This is one of those playoff losses where it goes on for the history of Philadelphia sports. Well, we're not getting Luka Doncic, getting Luka Doncic, I just don't think is a reality of the situation. So I'm not even going to really give that the time of day because there's no way in hell that's happening. Mullet petition for Alvarado said the PF means for the personal foul. He's not even getting his money's worth on D. Lobber floater over and over, 39 for Trey as he stands back and watches. You're right. If you're not going to do anything offensively, which is a huge fucking problem on its own, at least do what everyone praises you for, and you weren't even doing that either. So he was a disaster on every side, but also keep in mind, you're taking him out of the game. You're worried about getting fouled. The thought process of Hackabend screwed him up the whole game. So to tell me that offense doesn't matter, well, it does because you're going to take it out of the game because that's all you're worried about. And then you can't play your real game because, well, you're such an abysmal player on that end of the floor. And, it's not really rocket science. The difference is it was reasonable 2 years ago to feel confident about Ben Simmons. It was reasonable back in the day when you first got him to say, okay, he doesn't shoot, but you can change that, or he can just become more aggressive consistently and things like that. It's not outrageous a few years ago to be on the Ben Simmons hype train and to believe in his skill set that he will grow as an athlete. Now, though, it's just gone too far. You watched the opposing team mock him, make fun of him. He's a laughing stock 5 years in a playoff game. He just became invisible on his own floor. And you know what? Look, with all these assists that he gets, I watch him dribble up the floor, pass it off as if, like, here you go, you can have it, and then go run into the dunker spot. And then Seth Curry pulls a three. And then here's all the Ben Simmons stands go, woohoo! Great assist, elite facilitator, elite passer. He has his elite passing moments. Don't tell me that every single one of his assists are elite because it's not true. He runs up the floor as fast as he possibly can. He dumps it off and then goes and does nothing. And sometimes when he just dumps it off and as he's going to run, Seth Curry, who's willing to shoot a basketball, just lets it fly. Did you see Ben's pass? Did you see what Ben did? Anyone would have got that assist. Shake Milton, Furkan Korkmaz. It's not some special play. It's not. It's not a special play. It's crazy. Yeah, I agree, Michael. Ben regressed as a player. I agree with you. He's taken steps backwards. So all this talk about him growing, getting better, Joel has. And you know what? There's still some learning moments in Joel. He's not as polished as I thought he was because Kevin Durant doesn't allow for that to happen last night. He doesn't. Now, look, Joel took such a monster leap in one offseason that to think that he'd be a complete finished product is a little unfair, but I saw his body language in game 4 that I did not like, and the way that he handled that I didn't love. Although game 5, the way that he played for a majority of the game, 85% of the game, was very special. But, you know, you don't see Kevin Durant lose that game. You don't see those superstars lose that basketball game. Hell, Paul George wasn't losing a basketball game last night. You know, like Joel let that one slip. He missed those 2 free throws. Not that those 2 free throws were the difference because maybe they still would have lost. But I saw Joel slip a little. And I love Joel. I'm not saying that he's a bum. I'm not saying anything like that. But if I'm looking at the polished player that I thought Joel was, if I thought he was a 10 out of 10, I think now he's maybe a 9.2 out of 10, 9.3 out of 10. So there's 0.7 or so, 0.8 to still learn. And like I said, that's probably realistic considering how much of a leap he took in one offseason. But just putting it in perspective, that's kind of how I see it. Keith Richmond comes in with $20. Today's the day. The Brodes Tattoo Fund is in full effect. That is correct. At noon today, I am getting this piece all colored in. And then I'm going to schedule, hopefully, either to start the upper half of this sleeve to finish it off or my leg sleeve I'm going to start. So I think I'm going to try and schedule my next appointment when I'm there today. But good luck under the needle, my guy. I was at the Sixers game last night. Jeez, unacceptable. 40 points in the 4th. Where's the damn defense? Where's Toby the last 2 games? Ben blows. Yeah, you all make you make very valid points here. 40 points in the 4th. And if you also think about what happened in the 3rd, and you know what's funny? You think about that timeout. Remember hearing Doc Rivers talking that timeout, and he's talking about, you can sense it coming. Basically, you're not playing the right way. He knew it was coming. He knew it was coming, and it still happened. It was very sloppy. The turnover started to happen, and Doc Rivers sensed it and could not stop the bleeding. I look at the players a lot. It's funny. I saw Kyle Neubeck write a story for Philly Voice, and the title of it is "The Sixers Are Where They've Always Been, Waiting for Ben Simmons." And he tweeted this out with this caption: "In 4 years, the Sixers have had 2 head coaches, 5 different rosters, and 3 lead executives." The lead executives. Did I say lead? Jeez, I need more coffee. The problems on the floor are the same. Stop letting people tell you it's raining when Ben Simmons pisses on the court. Thank you so much, Rich, by the way. It's a nightmare. It's just a nightmare. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Ben Simmons is a nightmare. Sixers 205 with the $20. Guess who Brodes is pissed off? Guess what, Brodes? I'm pissed off too. But what choice do we have? Game 6 is Friday. I'm rocking with this team. I mean, I said it yesterday after the show when it seemed like everybody was down and out, which it makes sense on why that is. The series is not over. The series is not over. Job not finished. Is the job finished? Job's not finished. If you win Game 6, I think people feel very good about Game 7. It's just that emotional ride of a playoff series. I'm not telling you that I feel the greatest in the world. I'm just telling you the job not finished. That's what I'm saying. So, if they win a basketball game and punch the Atlanta Hawks in the mouth in Game 6, then we could be talking about a different team. And you're talking about being up 18. You're talking about being up 26. You're talking about being up monster these last 2 games. It's not ironic that you're up that much, okay? What's crazy is the downfall and the collapse. But it's not ironic that you're actually up that much. You are the better team. You're shooting yourself in the foot, self-inflicting wounds. And by the way, you have a huge roster flaw as well. But even with that roster flaw, you still have a lot of pieces that should be able to get the job finished inside. And Fran comes in here and says, I'm dead inside. Fran, I tried telling you when you tweeted about Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is the biggest problem this organization has. Whether Tobias Harris only had 4 points or not, you play 5-on-4 every possession in the playoffs. You can't get by a stinking Hawks team. You can't win a championship. This guy's a fraud. He's a problem, and it's okay to admit that. I was a diehard Ben Simmons stan for the first 3 years of his existence here in Philadelphia. Why? Because I saw a skill set that was phenomenal, and I expected him to grow as an athlete and learn on the job. Lose, 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 and then apply, get better. This guy's a fraud. All right. He doesn't work. You have to move on. You can't play point guard. It's not about he doesn't work. If you don't shoot a basketball, you cannot be a primary point guard in the NBA. So as much as like we want to say like it's not about at the end of the day, it is. It's all one. It's all one. Him not being able to shoot a free throw is because he can't shoot a basketball. And if he can't shoot a basketball, it's not going to work. You watch John Collins back off 6,000 feet. You played ball. And I was texting Mikey Greenfield all night last night. Mikey, we got a problem. Mikey, this is an issue. Like, I know you played ball. You played ball. I watched you play ball. You can't do this. You can't play basketball like this. This is the NBA. This is the National Basketball Association. You got good, scrappy teams, not great teams, not elite teams. You have good, scrappy teams taking your lunch money because you can't shoot a basketball. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. We got DJ Eastwood in the house. Sixers are never winning anything with the main piece being a player who does nothing in the half court. I'm with you. Run it back, Philly. DJ Eastwood, shout out to you, my man. Thank you so much for the $5 donation. I'm with you, bro. I mean, look, I know me and you have both been screaming about the Ben Simmons joke for the longest time, and we acknowledge what's in there. But enough is enough already, all right? He's a treasure. You're supposed to know what you have here. You keep this narrative alive. Come on with that joke. You're not fooling a damn soul, Doc. You're not fooling a damn soul. It's a joke. Ben Simmons is a fucking joke. It doesn't work. It's asinine. The guy doesn't work. It's unreal. Thank you so much, DJ Eastwood. I feel weird just calling you DJ for some reason, so that was awkward. But thank you. Eagles for life. Ben Simmons was playing Call of Duty last night. I don't have a problem with that. I know that that's going to be all he cares about is video games. And if Ben Simmons was watching TV at night instead of playing video games, who cares? If he's watching a YouTube video, no one's talking about it. If he's reading a magazine, nobody's talking about it. If he's playing video games, it's a problem. Video games is not the problem. His inability to shoot a basketball is a problem. It's not the video games. But I knew that was coming at some point today. What do I think about trading Ben for Randall? No. See, I get it. And look, now you're also not going to have, it's not like there's going to be a billion guys just ready to trade for Ben Simmons because you're seeing this dilemma, and this dilemma is on full display once again. Julius Randle, now you got Tobias Harris, you have Joel Embiid, and now we're throwing Julius Randle into the mix. No, you need a point guard. We need a point guard. We need someone who can run the offense. And I get it. You can maybe get that in another way, and then use. I don't know. I don't know what you can do. The whole Zach LaVine thing. I said I'm not trading for Zach LaVine. I need something more than that. That would be the caliber you get at this point. And if it is, so be it. If it is, so be it. But you need to find a point guard that can shoot a basketball and actually be a threat. Maybe the answer is Kyle Lowry. Maybe the answer is Kyle Lowry. Brodes, if you had 12 free throws last night, how many are you making? I'll be honest with you, friend. More than Ben Simmons, but probably not enough for the liking. I'd get ripped on Twitter, I'm sure. How many of the 12? I think probably like 6 or 7. I'm not the best free throw shooter in the world. But guess what? That's still double what Ben Simmons would make. So I'm not going to sit here and be a hero and say I'm going to make 12. Hell no. I ain't making 12. But I'll tell you what, I'll probably make 6 or 7, damn it. The best thing about last night, I swear to God, was that gentleman in the fans telling him to shoot. Oh my God. Was that not the funniest thing in the world? Because everyone's thinking the same thing. Everyone watching on the couch, everyone watching at the Wells Fargo Center. Look at it's like, shoot the ball. Shoot it. Shoot the ball. Shoot the ball, Ben. Shoot the ball. And even when it goes in the rim, how many times did you see it go in the rim and around her? It's because he doesn't know how to put spin on the ball. He doesn't know how to shoot a basketball. What hand is he? Can anybody answer that? What hand is Ben Simmons? Is he a lefty? Is he a righty? It's a joke. $5 coming in from Philly Jackson. Furniture needs to be moved with this team if we lose this Friday, specifically Ben Simmons. Too damn long for this nonsense. You're right. The problem is, here's the problem, and I heard this from a couple guys that, are just cover the team and are close to the team and all, and it's not the Bible, but it's just an interesting perspective. Doc Rivers loves Ben Simmons. Doc Rivers, when he talks about Ben Simmons the way that he does, it's because he loves Ben Simmons. He's not faking that. He genuinely feels that way, where we're dumb and he's smart and he doesn't need to shoot and all of that. Like, he legitimately, truly, internally feels that way. Him and Daryl Morey, they've been talking about, we want to work together since Boston. This is what we've been thinking about. We want this forever. Is it possible that Doc Rivers and Daryl Morey talk about this and it comes down to Doc doesn't want him to go? Doc doesn't want him to go. And if Doc doesn't want him to go, what do you do if you're Daryl Morey? Because I think that there's an element of this. I'm a little confused on what's going on here. I can't tell if I'm tasting a different coffee than I thought. Like, I think I thought I poured my McDonald's regular, but I'm tasting a different roast. So I think what I did was, I'm sitting here anticipating one flavor, and I got another flavor, and it threw me off. I don't know if you could tell that with that look I just gave the coffee. I'm like, what kind of coffee did I make? It's throwing me off a little bit. But anyway, we'll be good. We'll be all right. But I was just a little, whoa, whoa, whoa. Sort of like Ben Simmons at the free throw line. If someone could clip that face I just made, that's the same face I make when I watch Ben Simmons at the line. Nick Egan says, ship them both out then. Ship him out and Doc. Well, that's the thing where I would imagine that somebody like Daryl Morey would understand, yo, Doc, come here. Look. Doc, look, you blew it, okay? Okay, your record speaks for itself, Doc. All right, Glenn? Glenn, come into my office, Glenn. Okay? He's gone. His ass is out of here. See ya. And if you don't like it, you can follow him. And you can lose wherever the hell you go with. Or wherever he goes, you can go with him. How about that? Wendell Frazier with a $5 donation. Who's worse for free throws, Giannis or Simmons? They both won't work. They both won't work. Ben Simmons is worse. Ben Simmons is worse. I mean, he's shooting at a Ben Wallace pace. He's shooting at a Ben Wallace pace. Ben Simmons is worse. The Giannis Ben thing, though, these two don't work. You can't not shoot a basketball. And Giannis is willing. That's all great and dandy. You can't be bad at shooting. So both are in play here. You can't be an unwilling shooter, And you can't be a bad shooter if you're at this level of these guys. It is not a factor. So, you look at both of these players and they're both a problem. But if you're asking me the question, who's the better free throw shooter? I got to say it's Giannis. Giannis has to be the better free throw shooter because this is probably the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my damn life. And Ben Simmons looks like he's a lost puppy out there who doesn't want to be out there. He doesn't want the moment. The moment is too big for him, and he gets paid max money. So you have a $30 million guy who, by the way, the money keeps going up every year. 30, then like 33, 35, 37, 40. It takes those leaps. I'm just spitting off the top of my head, but it's in increments similar to that. And that's the type of money that he's going to be making. And you need big time players come up with big time shots. He has something along the lines of 5 shots in his last 6 quarters. And he gets paid how much money? But he's a treasure. Stop it. Sixers 205. One more thing. They're disgracing us. We're all here defending them, looking like idiots because we're desperately want them to do something. They're not. They are who we fucking thought they were. $10 donation coming in from Sixers 205. I don't think that's true, though. I don't think they are who we thought they were because I didn't think they were this. I didn't think they were this. I didn't think that they were a 26-point collapse team. I didn't think that they were an 18-point collapse lead. I didn't think they were this. And I didn't think it was wrong to feel this way. I think it was right to feel this way. So I'm a little stunned. I think it's a little different. Now, they've been this over the past. They haven't been this team all season long. So I don't know if anyone thought this is who they were. I thought Ben would show its ugly head. Quite frankly, I didn't think it would be until the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, I said that from the jump. You'll get away with this until the Eastern Conference Finals. Well, shame on me. Maybe I didn't put enough pressure on it. And you know how much pressure I put on it. Maybe I didn't do it enough of a service by talking about it. Maybe I did a disservice by not talking about it more. Believe that. I knew Ben Simmons would come up short. And I knew at the end of this thing, we'd look back at Ben and say, there it was, right there. That caused it all. I didn't anticipate it happening in the second round. But I didn't think this is who they were. No, I really didn't. Just call me Flair coming in with $5. If the Sixers lose in the second round again, Daryl Morey's going to make a power move. Either a Lakers move for AD. What are we doing with Anthony Davis? Or Clippers for Kawhi and Paul George. This is a little aggressive here. What are you going to – you have a 4 and you have a 5. Now, obviously, like Anthony Davis and LeBron James, obviously those two are together there in L.A. Like, I don't see that happening at all. An injured Anthony Davis, that's what you want Daryl Morey to do. And Kawhi Leonard right now has an ACL problem. Paul George is balling. But the Clippers are just now trading their duo that's going on a run and taking down the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. Here's one thing that's you're using that as the comparison. Like, oh, okay, I got you. I apologize. I read that wrong. I apologize. Just call me Flair says that he's using that as the comparison, as if the Lakers went out and got Anthony and the Clippers went out and got Paul George. Okay, understandable. I see that. Like this is though, when you watch these teams play. Now, the Brooklyn Nets did not finish the job yet, but when you think about the Brooklyn Nets, Kevin Durant is special, okay? What you're watching Paul George do and what Kawhi Leonard did before he got injured, special. This is what it takes to win a title. Goes back to, did you learn something about Joel Embiid late? The last 2 games. He's a very, very, very good talent that can get there. Just not there yet. Just not there yet. And I don't know if Paul George is there yet because Paul George has had a lot of criticism throughout his career, and he's playoff P for a reason, and he gets mocked for a reason. So there's a lot of that. Okay? But when I watch Kevin Durant do his thing, and then I watched Joel Embiid miss a couple free throws and then go 0 for 12 in the second half, which was such an extreme outlier. That's obvious. There's just something missing. On a scale of 10, Joel Embiid is at like a 9.3 in terms of polished. Blaine, I'll disagree with you here. Blaine says, I'm not a 76ers fan at all. The process has failed. It's a failed experiment. Simmons isn't a generational player. Embiid is, but missing on Okafor and Fultz is something that isn't talked about enough. The Fultz thing has more validity. If you go back to the Okafor draft, I love this one. This one always gets talked about. So the 2015 NBA draft, it worked because it's not about winning a championship. That's what, people say it is. The franchise changed it around. You're the number one seed. Everyone cares. Sell out every night. You were stuck in purgatory. You were stuck in an 8th seed. Can't do anything. You were the Washington Wizards of this year. Well, you tank, and then you become a sold-out franchise, billions of jersey sales. People go to your games. Guess what? It worked. It's not a failed experiment. It worked. That's the reason why the NBA changed the lottery rules. It worked. Jahlil Okafor, you got the 3rd pick in the draft. I can't stand that narrative that the Sixers botched the Jahlil Okafor thing. You got what came to you at 3rd. Karl Anthony Towns went 1. D'Angelo Russell went 2. Porzingis, who, by the way, is not a special player, went 4, and he did not want to come here in Philly. Willie Cauley-Stein, 6. Moutier, 7. Stanley Johnson, 8. Kaminsky, 9. Justice Winslow, 10. Miles Turner went 11. Booker went 13. But when you talk about 13, that's in a territory of everybody passed on that player. The Jahlil Okafor, he fell to you. He fell to you. Just like when Joel Embiid at 3 fell to you. It's just luck at that point. Now, when you have the 1st overall pick, like with what happened with Fultz, that can be more discussed. That can be more of a topic. You didn't botch Okafor. He fell to you on your lap by default. Just like Joel Embiid. So it's not a problem with the process and this and that. The process worked because people go to their games, people sell out the arena, they buy their jerseys, they're the number 1 seed, there's optimism, they're talked about the way that they are because the process worked. Sean Fitzpatrick says, Ben Simmons is the kid in PE class you'd rather watch everyone else play rather than insert himself in on the action. It gets a lot worse than that, Sean, unfortunately. That's just almost like the start of it. It gets way uglier than that. It's just one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, it's funny. All those Ben Simmons supporters over the last couple of weeks, real quiet, as they should be. Just Call Me Flair comes back in with a $5 donation. Simmons will go down in history as the biggest what if. Oh, it's up there. Oh, it is up there. No doubt about it. It's up there. Because there's no denying what's possible. What's possible is no doubt something that we will continue to ask is like, what's the ceiling? What's the ceiling? The ceiling is special. When you watch John Collins back off of him 10,000 feet, defending him that far away from the basket, and then you talk about, well, the offense went stagnant. Why do you think? Why do you think the offense goes numb? Why do you think the offense stops the ball movement and this and that? Why do you think it's hard to run plays in the half-court set? Why do you think the offense looks different in the second half of a playoff game? Why do you think things change when the game slows down? Because you're playing shorthanded. Because you're playing with one less man. Because your one player does nothing on the floor. Steven says the process was not finished because they got rid of Sam Hinkie. Well, the NBA forced them to get rid of Sam Hinkie. Yes, they did. They did force him to. And yeah, that's also part of the equation as well. But yeah, the process thing, I know it ties into the conversation today, but it's also not where I want to take this today at the same time. I want to reiterate a tweet that Mike O'Connor tweeted out last night. We talk a lot about whether Ben is a point guard or a Draymond Green type, but in crunch time, he's neither. He's just a dude who stands in the dunker spot. Draymond isn't a point guard, but he makes a huge impact in crunch time. calling the plays, directing traffic, and injecting energy. Ben is just a ghost. Ben is just a ghost. Now, here's our guy, Wesley. All right? And if you've been in Coffee with Brodes with us a lot, you know Wesley and I go back and forth out of love about Ben Simmons. He says, can I ask one question and get a rational answer without being attacked? I will answer your question. I can't promise that I won't get pissed off, but I will answer your question as calm as I possibly can. Or if I do get pissed, I won't put it towards you. I'll put it towards Ben. I won't put it towards you. So I'll allow Wesley, because look, it takes balls. It takes balls to come in here as a Ben Simmons guy after the game and say, I want to have some, I want to comment. So I'll give Wesley that chance to ask a question. And while that happens, I'll go to Mullet petition for Alvarado with 500 yen. Trey behind the back threw Thibel's legs to Collins for a bank three. That last floater that got the bounce, unlucky and ugly. But just don't want it to end. I don't want it to end either. You know, I was thinking about it too. As much as I love the Phillies, and I can't wait for the Phillies to, to hopefully go on a nice run. And they put together a nice string of wins before going to LA, and going 1-2 against the Los Angeles Dodgers on the road is not the worst thing in the world. You can't demand wins every series, and that's an automatic series loss, basically. It's just, I didn't think they played bad baseball. But anyway, I don't want it to be only Phillies, as much as I'm waiting for it to be Phillies baseball more as a hot topic too, just because I love baseball. I don't want it to end where the Sixers rule the world. And Friday's night is going to be a night where your anxiety is going to be going through the roof, through the damn roof. And by the way, this whole Brett Brown thing, right? Everyone's like, oh, Brett Brown blows leads. Brett Brown doesn't make Ben Simmons shoot. That was a huge narrative at one point. Brett Brown doesn't make Ben Simmons shoot. Okay. Try telling everybody. And I'm not telling you Brett Brown was a great coach. What I'm telling you is Brett Brown was not the biggest problem on this team. And I tried telling you that. Sixers 205 with $5. Embiid has to be sick. He's giving it an all on a bum knee while his two co-stars gave him 8 points. How many did Tobias ended? Let's see. Tobias ended with what? 4 points, and Ben Simmons ended with 8. So together they ended up getting 12, right? That's what it was between the two. Yeah, Tobias Harris with a 4-point night is just egregious. Egregious. All right, so here's Wesley's question. Okay. Is it possible that Toby, whose sole job is to score more than 4 points, and this bench producing absolutely nothing in the second half, was more of the problem than Ben Simmons? The answer is no, Wesley. The answer is no. The answer is no. And here's why. There's so much more than that when it comes to the inability of Ben Simmons. Joel Embiid having to play the way that he did over the entire season is a Ben Simmons problem. The wear and tear on Joel Embiid's body is a Ben Simmons problem. The fact that he can't shoot a basketball forces Joel Embiid to have to use all of his energy on way more plays. Think about if Ben Simmons was a standard point guard who takes 15 shots. Let's say Ben takes 12 to 15 shots per game. That's less that Joel Embiid has to do over a whole season, over a whole playoff run. And now that level of energy that Joel has is significantly more. So the long term of this Ben Simmons nonsense plays a role on where we are now. Also, you talk about Tobias Harris needing to score. It's hard to do that. And I'm not saying that Tobias I'm not saying Tobias's 4 points. He could have done more. Tobias clearly could have done more, even with the circumstances. But you play 5-on-4 in every possession in the playoffs in the half-court sets because Ben Simmons does nothing but dribble up the court, hand the ball off to somebody, and then go do nothing. How can you play playoff basketball when you're 5-on-4? You talk about the bench sucking. I don't win a championship because of my 10th man, because of my 9th man. they might have a role, but that role is not as important as a man that should be playing 38 to 40 minutes a night, if not more, as a starter, as your primary ball handler that's supposed to calm your team down. Why are the Phoenix Suns having a lot of great moments right now? Because they have a reliable fourth quarter guy in Chris Paul calming down the presence, being the floor general, getting the team in the right spots. Ben can't get the team in the right spots because he can't do anything offensively. He can't do anything offensively. So all of these problems that you talk about, Tobias Harris, the bench, it all stems from playing 5-on-4 and having a player who stinks on the floor. It all stems from that. Like, we're getting mad about George Hill. You shouldn't have to rely on George Hill in the fourth quarter of a playoff game. You shouldn't have to rely on Shake Milton at the end of a playoff game. Yes, Wesley, follow up. This all stems from one individual. Nick Egan comes in. Winning games is like duct tape for the Ben Simmons problem. Yeah, I agree. It's like you win because everybody steps up in spite of Ben Simmons. You're winning. It's not because of Ben, but everybody else is doing their job. Damian Lillard, says Sean Duffy. I hope to God. I hope to God. Damian Lillard and Joel Embiid together would just be outrageous. Now, the argument is Damian Lillard hasn't won. Damian Lillard's been in some tough moments. You're right. Damian Lillard hasn't won anything, but it sure wasn't because of him. It sure wasn't solely because Damian Lillard stinks. You got to have the proper team around you at the same time, right? It starts with having the superstar. It starts with having that Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, Joel Embiid type, and then the other pieces matter. Then there's the percentile. It's the pie chart. You need, before you can even start the conversation of a championship caliber team, 55, if not 60%, if not 75% is having a superstar. Then everything else ends up going around. Then the circle starts filling out. Why do we dominate when Ben orchestrates from the post, the way we have done half the year and how we played in game 2? Well, to be fair, that was for about 6 minutes, right? I mean, it's not like he did that all game. It's not like that happened forever. And because Ben was willing. Ben is willing to attack. Very small amount of times. Very small amount of time. What you're saying is, can Ben win a one-on-one matchup in the post? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. But he also doesn't do it. Well, Doc doesn't call up. You have to have instincts, man. Is Kevin Durant winning those games because why? Their rookie head coach is so sensational that he knows everything about basketball, or Kevin Durant has a fucking killer attitude that says, give me the fucking basketball? Is Ty Lue the most special coach in the world, or is Paul George stepping up for his fucking team? Which one is it? This whole Doc Rivers thing. Doc Rivers sucked. Doc Rivers had his problems too. Ben Simmons blowing is a lot more than Doc Rivers calling for post plays. You got to have instincts out there. You have to attack. And sometimes you can't because you can shoot a ball and they back off of you so much that you're afraid. And you're also, here's another thing. Ben can hit free throws. So he doesn't want to play that game because he knows that they're going to force him to hit free throws. They're going to foul him on purpose. Your point of Ben Simmons can win in the post. Ben Simmons can win any matchup ever. Ben Simmons can win any matchup ever. For the most part. He's a freak of nature. In theory, sure. But it doesn't work out that way. The in theory doesn't really work out on the floor. Trade Ben, major liability. Yes, please. Clark Calabrese, give me someone who wants it. Ben's the biggest head case in all of sports. Imagine Dame and Joel. I'm with you. I would do anything for Damian Lillard right now. Ben won't shoot the basketball, and Ben does not care. Watch the interview, look in his face, rolling his eyes. He's not even mad. Ben trade value is slim to none. Well, it's not slim to none because in this league, stars won out. And when stars won out, it forces the hand of the other team. And the other team doesn't want, the other player doesn't want to be in a certain city where if you can get Ben Simmons in return for a disgruntled player that doesn't want to be somewhere anymore, it could get a lot worse than that. So with that theory, it is something that is possible. I don't think it's none because players went out all the time. Players want to trade all the time. And, Ben Simmons still does have value. People like Doc Rivers see him as a treasure. And that still is around the league. It's not just Doc who feels that way. But, this does put a knife in it a bit more. De'Aaron Fox for Ben Simmons. That's where we're at now. And that's no knock on De'Aaron Fox. But there was a time where Ben Simmons was in the category of Devin Booker, Damian Lillard, James Harden. And those were maybe the only three guys. I'm sure that there's others if you threw a couple out there, but basically those were it. And then now we're at that next tier of De'Aaron Fox, Zach LaVine. Now we're in those type of categories. And it is what it is. It is what it is. And you watched Daryl Morey fleece in the past, Seth Curry, Josh Richardson. Maybe you can get a fleece in here as well. Houston took a whole bunch of late first-round picks instead of Ben Simmons. Yeah, but you look at what they got. It's not like they didn't get anything. They got a lot. A lot. So it's not like what they got wasn't anything. It's not like they took something shitty instead of Ben Simmons. They took something insanely massive instead of Ben Simmons. Yeah, but I don't think that the Sacramento Kings are going to be trading De'Aaron Fox for Ben Simmons. How much blame does Embiid deserve? Not a lot. He deserves some. I don't like what he showed in that back part. He had some tough moments in that back part. There's no denying that. But he also was playing on a torn meniscus, giving you 30+ points. He's so far this series, right? Let's go to Joel Embiid's game log. If we go to Joel Embiid game log, okay? So here's what Joel Embiid has given you so far in this playoff round. Splits, nope, game log 2021, and we are off. He's given you 39 points, 40 points, 27 points, 17, which was his bad day, 37 on one knee. So there's some things he needs to clean up. If the other major flaws, which are bigger problems, get fixed, I don't think we have this conversation about the Joel Embiid blame that you're looking at. Ben Simmons? No. See, Ben Simmons for a first-round pick? What are you talking? First, second? Even if it's like first, second overall, it's like, whew, man, that would be pretty disappointing. Considering what he can be, what he's supposed to be, considering the hype around him, if you said Ben Simmons got traded for a first-round pick, I don't even know if Daryl Morey does that. But again, if that's the only thing you get, that's crazy. And then I guess you can look at the money side of things, though. You can utilize that money to try and get something else and this and that and get creative. But, yeah, I think that's too small. Too small. Ben turned to a hate the face after last night. He's been a hate the face for me for a long damn time now. I don't know how it took last night. I don't know how I just got a DM. I just got a DM. Hope you finally got over your man crush on Ben. He does everything, blah, blah, blah. I can't take the dude no more. Be ready for him to fucking go. Best of luck to you. What? I don't know what this individual is. It's almost like the man doesn't listen to the show. Because I feel like I've literally have been destroying this individual for months. Months. Should have gotten Kyle Lowry for the 1-year rental. Yeah, but then you're talking about moving on from guys that aren't the main problem right now. Like, that would have taken Matisse Thybulle. Danny Green, but he's probably going to be out of here anyway after next season. But yeah, I mean, that's the Kyle Lowry thing. You're right, though, because that changes this whole discussion of who would have the ball in the hands late. But then it's still, I mean, you still have the same conversation about it. You spend $30 million for a gentleman to sit his ass on the bench while you traded some bench pieces for a player like Kyle Lowry. And you're pretty much trying to find glue. You're looking for Elmer's glue or Scotch tape to fix a major hole. You have a flood in your basement and you got Scotch tape to try and fix it. That's what Kyle Lowry is. That's the move that it is. And that's not what can possibly happen. You watch sports enough. Blowing a 26-point lead takes a team, not one person. I agree, but I do think, Fran, when you start to when I start hearing this, and I'm just going to show frustration, so I don't want this to make it seem like I'm targeting it towards you. But I hear this all the time, so after you hear it over and over and over again, it's sort of like you snap. After a game last night, when you start deflecting or reflecting, or you're just you don't want the noise to be on Ben Simmons so much that you start this conversation. Yeah, but you're not blaming Tobias, or Joel wasn't strong late, and why aren't you yelling at Doc? And how come the bench wasn't it either? Yes, all those other things do matter. You're right. This was a team collapse from top to bottom, but it all stems from Ben Simmons. This game in the first half was a complete blowout. They hacked the Ben. They slowed the game down. They stopped the pace. They killed the momentum. They destroyed the building. They stopped the loudness. They did all that. Why? Because Ben Simmons. If you don't have Ben Simmons, if you have a point guard, that makes sense. Are you still on that run? Is the Wells Fargo Center going crazy? Now, it's not that simple, but it's that logic that matters. This whole hack a Ben, slow the game down, Ben Simmons stinks, Ben Simmons doing it all stems from Ben Simmons. The team knowing that Ben's getting hacked and he's missing his free throws and he looks horrible and he doesn't look confident. It's a momentum killer. It flows through the locker room. It flows through the atmosphere. It flows through the bench. You see it. The team feels it. The team knows, we're a problem. Convey says, nope, you're wrong. Doc chokes every year like this. It's not mainly Ben. You put too much stock on a head coach. Doc is a problem in its own right. In a head coaching view, if you look strictly at what head coaches do, yes. What's more important, playing 5-on-5 basketball compared to 5-on-4 basketball, or a head coach? I'll read you the headline once again that Kyle Neubeck of Philly Voice put out there, okay? This is what he tweeted with his post today. In 4 years, the Sixers have had 2 head coaches, 5 different rosters, and 2 lead executives. The problems on the floor are the same. Stop letting people tell you it's raining when Ben Simmons pisses on the court. Doc Rivers, if you look at it strictly from the head coaching avenue, problem. What's more important? Actually having a player who can shoot a basketball, or a head coach? It's easy to me. It's not even close. Not even close. Where else are we at here? Trade Simmons for Luka Doncic. The Luka Doncic thing is not going to happen. I don't. The GMs moved. They're going to try and. You don't let Luka Doncic go. You don't just get rid of Luka Doncic. He's going to be there. Mark Cuban's going to maneuver around Luka Doncic and do whatever it is to make him happy. Doc can't make in-game decisions, like keep Curry out there when they clearly was going after him. Curry was the only one scoring. So hold on a second. You wanted to take Curry off the floor. So the 2 guys that scored in the second half was Joel and Curry, right? You wanted to take that off for who? Ben Simmons? Who did you want to score in that moment? Now, you're right. There's some questionable decisions utilizing Seth Curry, and clearly they are targeting him. But guess what? What are you supposed to do? You don't have shooters. You don't have spacing. You don't have the guys out. Danny Green. How many people out there really saw Danny Green going down as a beneficial thing for this franchise. A lot of you. A lot of you. Because he showed some tough moments in 2 games in this series. Shame on you all. Which is just a horrible way to analyze the game. Go get Steph Curry. I mean, all these are just getting outrageous, right? Wow, is it 45 missed free throws from Ben in the playoffs so far? Holy shit. Holy bad is that or holy hell is that bad? Is that eye-opening? Holy hell. If Morey isn't calling Portland today about Dame, he's got to go. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't think he's calling him today, but I do think that that's happening for sure. The common denominator is the Hawks. Next game in Atlanta, what now? The common denominator is the Hawks? No, the common denominator is Ben Simmons sucks. Look, there's a reason why. If you think the Hawks are some team that's just that great, it's not reality. If you analyze this game of basketball, they're taking advantage of Ben Simmons blowing. That the Sixers are self-inflicting wounds. Ben Simmons can't hit a free throw. You're up 26 points. They were up 18 points in the game 4. The Sixers are up big for a reason. They're the better team. The Sixers are a better team. Then they just go on this tandem of playing dumb basketball. The Sixers are in control to win all of these basketball games. And while I give the Hawks credit because you have to do they have to do their part. But their part isn't in play if the Sixers aren't shooting themselves in the foot. And the Hawks aren't forcing the Sixers to do that. It's not a situation where the Hawks are so elite defensively that the Sixers just don't know what to do and they're getting overwhelmed by this magic power of the Hawks. They're just playing sloppy-ass basketball on their own. The Hawks are not that special. And that's what makes this the collapse that it is. It's not the Hawks being special. It's the Sixers shooting themselves. Mueller petition for Alvarado, 500 yen. Remember when Ben and JoJo were going to be roomies? There's so many problems with this Joel and Ben thing. Joel's got to be pissed. Joel's got to be pissed. Enough is enough, I'd be saying. How many years do I have to put up with this crap? How many years do I have to utilize this garbage next to me? Am I doing this again? Really? That's what I'd be saying. Get me someone new. The Suns have missed 28 as a team. Nets 22 as a team. It's funny. I was told that whole hack a Ben thing wouldn't be an issue. Only the Wizards. Nope. Sounds like they had a strategy. What, their strategy was the Sixers blow up in their face and then take advantage of it? No. I mean, if you watch the game, the Sixers just made mistakes. And then credit Atlanta for making the most of it and taking advantage. But the Atlanta Hawks are not the better basketball team here. They're not. They might end up winning the series, and kudos to them. But that's more of the Sixers collapsed more than, wow, the Atlanta Hawks are a special team. And that's okay. Credit to the Hawks. You still have to have guts to do it. I think Trae Young is a dog. I think Trae Young has something Ben Simmons sure fucking doesn't. I think Ben Simmons is lacking a lot of that killer. Trae Young has that fucking killer. No doubt about it. Trae Young has that dog. He's mocking Ben. Trae Young just got into this damn league. He's mocking Ben. Ben's over here saying, I'm defensive player of the year. My ass. Fran says, what do I see the rest of the way? I wouldn't be shocked if they win Game 6 and win Game 7. I mean, this is a cop-out answer, but I wouldn't be surprised if they win Game 6 on the road because they are the better team. And I wouldn't be surprised if they win 2 games in a row against the Hawks. They were up 26-18 for a reason. When they play their brand of basketball, they are the better team. It's inevitable that when they play that brand of basketball. I also wouldn't be surprised if they blow up in their face again because it's that emotional. You know, something that was mentioned after the game. The locker room was down and awful. Did you just get too low? Point where, you know, we thought this team grew and we thought this team was in a new area now in terms of, you know, being more veteranish. And while they're young, taking leaps in terms of growth emotionally in a playoff series. Maybe this is another one that they need to wear on their chest. This is another game 7 quadruple doink. You know, maybe it is that way. Nathan says that Trey loves the villain role. Embiid was the villain for 3 quarters till Ice Trey showed up. Yeah, Ice Trey sure did show up. Brodes, how can we watch the Phillies today? There is no Phillies today. They're off. Joel is going to leave. I don't think Joel is going to leave. I think he's going to force Ben Simmons out of here, though, as he should. As he damn should. Damn should. Seth said I ripped my favorite shirt last night. Wow, went to the full shirt rip, huh? Huh. Didn't Lance says Dane more valuable than people realize. ... Yeah, absolutely. And then Ja comes in saying that Danny Green, this doesn't go on Danny Green at all. This has nothing to do with Danny Green. Stop it. I think this has a lot to do with Danny Green not being out there on the floor. Absolutely. You're playing Furkan Korkmaz. I mean, really, with all this, with all due respect here to this little crew that fantasizes about Furkan Korkmaz, and when he has a nice day or a nice couple shots, it's always fun and dandy and a nice little rise because it's Furkan. Like, we're talking about a playoff game here. We're talking about a serious playoff option, and Furkan Korkmaz starting in the same sentence. That's not a serious conversation. Furkan Korkmaz does not start on championship caliber teams. Now, granted, he's in there because of injury. I got that. And even with Furkan, you still have enough talent to beat an Atlanta Hawks team. That's why you're up 26 points. But the Danny Green conversation is a serious one. We're never going to get 36 from Curry again, which means Tobias and Ben has to step up, which won't happen. I mean, you might get 30-something from Seth again. Seth has been on fire, so you can get a good Seth game. But yeah, you're right. Ben and Tobias, I mean, you're going to get more from Tobias. I don't anticipate a 4-point night from Tobias. That's definitely an outlier. To have this much hope just to have it all ripped away is terrible. Sure thing. I feel that pain. I'm not discrediting that pain. That pain should be there. I also knew that this Ben Simmons drama, though, would stop you at some point. You know, this Ben Simmons thing would eventually run you into a wall. I just didn't think it would be this early. I knew it would happen. So I guess maybe that's where I differ from some people, right? Like, I've been calling it. It will cost you. It will cost you. It will cost you. Brodes, shut up. Brodes, shut up. It will cost you. Brodes, they're winning. It will cost you. So I knew it would cost you. It's just, I guess it's happening way sooner than anticipated. So that's what stinks. That's what stinks. All right, I want to thank everyone so much for hanging out today on Coffee with Brodes. I know it's been a couple of days with Coffee with Brodes off, so I'm trying to get this Dodgers-Phillies series podcast. And let me ask this. Is anyone interested in the Phillies-Dodgers pod? Like, they just had a series. They went 1 for 2. Spencer Howard pitched. Bryce Harper got hurt. Gene Segura got hurt. There's a lot to talk about, and I went through it. You know, like I have notes here. I have notes. I wrote down. I prepared for a Dodgers-Phillies series pod that I kind of want to do, but I just feel like, man, look, there's so much going on with this Ben Simmons stuff and this drama. It's so hard to get into that. I know. We see a lot of yeses. I'm trying. Maybe I'll do one of those live pods. Maybe I'll end Coffee with Brodes. I'll hit the reset button, and I'll just attack a quick little Phillies pod or something. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm trying to gather my emotions together, but I prepared myself to do one. I have at noon, I have my tattoo appointment, which is going to take a little bit of time. So that's also in play. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing. Sixers don't know what they're doing. Ben Simmons doesn't know what he's doing either. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I'll catch you guys.